position myself better. That was very uncomfortable. Everyone makes mistakes. Fine. I screwed up, okay? Even geniuses do it from time to time. Yeah, you said that already. But I definitely wasn't lying. I just got a few details mixed up. That's all. Yes, of course. Yes. The truth is, the victim was facing away from me. Yes, yes. His right temple was in the line of the driver. Yes. Matthew Thomas is the killer. I swear on my coin collection. So, not only do you swear on your bachelor's degree, but you swear on your coin collection. Which could be very, very, like, that could be the change in your freaking car. Okay. That was a very energetic testimony. The defense may cross-examine the witness. No sweat, Your Honor. Well, that was very odd. Let's pan out to Mr. Payne, because we're going to do a cross-examination on Mr. Payne. Yes. Fine, I screwed up, okay? Even geniuses do that from time to time. Hold it! But how can we tell that you aren't simply lying? You have to admit, this mini screw-up seems suspicious. Yes, well, it happens. Trust me. It's not easy being a witness to a murder. It's a stressful situation. My mind was racing. Yes, yes. Your Honor, this line of questioning isn't going to take us anywhere good. My eardrums have suffered enough already. Yes, I do agree. Please, continue with your testimony, witness. But I definitely wasn't lying. I just got a few details mixed up. That's all. Hold it. Hold it. But they were very important details. Extremely important. The accuracy of your details determines the fate of the defendant. I know that. I didn't mean to mix up my facts. Yes, no. You really need to learn to forgive. Sheesh. Sheesh? He does have a point, Apollo. It's important to be able to let things go. Whose side are you on anyway? It doesn't take a genius to figure out that this is going nowhere. Carry on with the cross-examination, Mr. Justice. Right away, Your Honor. The truth is, the victim was facing away from me. His right temple was in the line of the driver. Hold it! Then how did you see Ilva Morir's face? Earlier you said that you knew it was him because you saw his face. Well, yes. I saw his face in the window reflection. Yes, yes. Objection! But wouldn't that be incredibly difficult seeing as the car was speeding past you? So you not only... Yeah, exactly. It just seems like a long shot. A very, very longer than a football field long shot.
The witness has an excellent memory and a very high IQ. Yes. What may be a difficult feat for you or I may be easy for him.
I'm not too sure about that, Mr. Payne. However, it is impossible to prove whether or not he could have seen the victim through a reflection. I believe the best thing to do is to continue with the cross-examination. I almost had him. Seriously, that seemed like a very, very, very poor excuse. Matthew Thomas is the killer. I swear, my coin collection. Hold it. Hold it. Can we really say that for sure? Don't you think that you're somewhat of a suspect now, Mr. Ness?
The defense should keep its opinions to itself. This is a cross-examination. We aren't interested in wild theories and conjecture.
Exactly! It's not like there's any reason to suspect me. You can't link me to the murder. Oh, really? Really now? Really? I hate using it, but, yeah. Come to think of it, I want that add it to my testimony. You can't link me to the murder. Wait. Wait. You want you yourself say you want that added testimony? Okay. Okay. You want to add to your own testimony? Of your own free will? Huh. I've never seen that before. I don't think this has ever happened before. Ever. Huh. Well, it's happening now. Let me add to my testimony right now. Yes, yes. Well, okay. If you really want to, I don't see the problem of it. I am the judge. I will allow it. The witness may continue with his testimony. It's not like you can link me to the murder. Remember that card key we got that sadly we gotta use because I don't think we have any other evidence that we can actually use, so... Objection! With this! Oops, wrong button. With this! Witness. You are finished. It's over! It's actually kind of funny. I thought taking you down would be a lot more difficult. What are you blabbing about? Does everyone remember this card key? It belongs to Escort Dugal. It's a card key to our limousine crime scene, as you know. So what's your point? During the proceedings, Mr. Asterisk Dugal ordered a fingerprint check done on this card. And I think we can all figure out just whose fingerprints they found. Yours, Mr. Witness. No! Now I understand why witnesses rarely add to their own testimonies. Look at that surprised face with... Now I understand why they don't do that. I've been framed, fooled, tricked, swindled, hoodwinked. Mr. Justice, this is an incredible piece of information. This card key almost guarantees that witness was in the vehicle. But when did he touch the card key in the first place? I think I can answer that question, actually. He touched the card key... Yes, he touched it days before the murder. Yes, that makes so much sense. After the murder? I would think after the murder. After the murder, Your Honor! It's the only time he could have gotten his fingers on it! But the police took it from the crime scene after the murder. And furthermore, we have it in this courtroom right now, in a sealed bag! I don't see my life bar looking too hot anymore. How could he have touched it after the murder? Oops? I'm afraid oops is not a sufficient response, Mr. Justice. And I still require an answer for my question. Yes, witness's fingerprints were found on the card key. But when did he touch the card key in the first place? Yes, I think I can answer that. It's right before the murder. Right before the murder, Your Honor. He touched the card key when Ilva Morir had it. That was his only opportunity. Ah! Here's what happened on that fateful night. After Escort Dugal loaned him the card key, Ilva Morir talked to Matthias and went in the vehicle. Next, witness came with a gun in hand and demanded they let him in. He went through Ilva Morir's pockets, looking for money. This is when he touched the card key! Wait, really? He went through Ilva Morir's pockets, looking for money? That's the best he can come up with, Apollo? He was trying to be a thief after murdering? Okay. Since it wasn't valuable, he just left it on the floor. This was how the police found it. Okay. Afterward, witness ordered Matthias Thomas to drive, and after a while shot Ilva rear. He then forced Matthias Thomas to touch the gun, left it in the vehicle, and ran away. This sounds like a horrible explanation, but let's just go with it. Yes. Witness then called the police, gave them the car's information, and left Matthias sitting in a daze.
But why would the card key bear Witness's fingerprints, but not the gun?
My guess is that he wiped his fingerprints off the gun, but forgot about the card key, the tiny little card key.
Well, what about the motive? I understand why he would have hijacked the car, but shoot Ilva rear?
There must have been a confrontation between them. One that didn't quite end too well.
I'm still pretty skeptical of all this.
Mr. Justice, your theory seems plausible, but we can't let baseless conjecture decide this trial. Well, I admit my idea is a little sketchy, like a certain witness's testimony. But baseless, Your Honor? All the proof we need is staring right at us. Just look at the victim's face! Where have I heard that line before? It's all lies! I tell you, lies! I've been framed! Yes, I certainly see your point. Bailiff, arrest the witness! Look at his face! Doesn't his face just show that he's a murderer? Well, that was certainly an interesting turn of events.
Yes, it was, Your Honor.
To think that our only witness was behind this all along. Simply staggering, actually. Do you find it staggering, Apollo? Not really. No, but it does seem a little strange when I think about it. In any case, the outcome of this trial has become immediately obvious. I've consulted with the jurists, and we've come to a unanimous decision. We hereby find the defendant, Matthias Thomas.
Wait!
Mr. Payne, what is the meaning of this?
Apollo Justice, listen to me!
He called you by your name! Well, that is my name.
That card key! There's something very wrong with that card key! I can't believe I only just realized it now, but take a look at the court record!
Well, okay. One of two copies found by the police. The other belongs to Matthias Thomas and is currently in police possession. The other belongs to Matthias Thomas and is currently in police possession. And oh, okay. I see where this is going. The copy that is in police possession is Matthias Thomas's. And the one that I seem to be using is Asterix. Yeah, there's something very wrong with this.
Isn't there something really, really strange about the fingerprints? There's something that isn't there that should be.
Oh. Fingerprints of a certain someone that doesn't ever use gloves because it's his card key. Mr. Payne, stand down now before I declare you in contempt of court. I have a hot date. Does anyone remember that? Mr. Justice, you don't have to listen to this. The prosecution is obviously stalling for time.
No! Listen to me, Apollo! Earlier, I helped you because I wanted to get the right man. But witness isn't him! I know it!
Well, Mr. Justice, it seems you have to make a choice. What is your opinion on the prosecution's claim? You know what? As I said, I agree. So you're gonna have to hold on that. You're gonna have to settle down about that hot date, Judge. I'm sorry to say. I wonder what's so strange about that card key.
What?
I can't believe it. Wait, what? I can't believe it. It can't be. I might regret this later, but for now, it's just the right thing to do. The defense agrees with the prosecution's claim, Your Honor. What? But Mr. Justice, you won the trial. Why are you refusing to accept it? Doesn't anyone want to win anymore? No. No. It's not about winning. It's about finding the truth. Not at the expense of the truth. Well then, Mr. Justice. Oh, shoot! That is a huge decrease in the bar. If the person you spent the last 2 hours proving is the killer is not the killer, then who is it? Come again? What did you just say? I want an answer. Right now. Who is the true killer of Ilva Morir? Well, I'll just go to the whole screen and say... Well, I will say first to make it like that. And I will say it is Asterix Dugal. I can't believe it's come to this. This is insane. I never imagined I'd accuse him in a million years. I'm pretty sure everyone that's watching this begs to differ, but whatever. But I can't back down now. The defense names Asterix Dugal as the killer. What?
Really, Apollo? Are you absolutely sure?
I'm positive, Trucy. Your Honor, this data doesn't just say that witness's fingerprints are on the card key. It also says that his fingerprints are the only ones on it.
Exactly! Asterix Dugal testified earlier that he gave Ilva Morir the card key.
I loaned him my card key, trusting him to leave it with Matthews afterwards.
Since he wears gloves, it's conceivable that his fingerprints wouldn't be on the card. But there's no reason for Ilva Morir's fingerprints to be missing.
Oh! Okay, now that makes sense. Now it's coming to me. Now it's starting to come to my head. Okay. In other words, Asterix Dugal lied about lending the card key to Ilva Morir. But what would he have gained from lying about that? Recall a statement from earlier, Your Honor. I elected to walk myself home, since I needed the exercise anyway. I told Mr. Morir where my card was parked. and then I went on my merry way. You see, I allowed Mr. Moria to borrow my card key for temporary use. I also gave him a note to present to Matthias, explaining the situation. Notice a common theme, Your Honor? Everything he said promoted the idea that he never went to the limousine. The fact that he lied in his testimony tells me that he, in fact, did go to the limousine. We were meant to think that Ilva Morir went to the vehicle alone. But if he didn't touch that car key, then Escort Dugal must have gone with him. He must have been the third person in the limousine.
And the only reason Escort Dugal would lie about that is because...
Because he is the murderer! Order! I will have order in this courtroom, even if it kills me! Objection! Bon Carm. I didn't think you had that much of a low voice there, Dugal. Also... Hi? Polly, what did I tell you about horrible introductions? Shut up! He's the killer! Apollo. My boy. May I ask what you are doing? Doing? Well, he's uncovering the truth. That's what he's doing! Truth? I personally doubt that. What truth is there in a lawyer that turns on his own colleagues, on distinguished officials of the government? Settle down, Mr. Dugal. The defense and prosecution have raised a disturbing claim against you. Although it is true you participate in the making of laws, that does not mean you are above them. Yeah. Doesn't that sound familiar, Apollo?
Your Honor, this witness is clearly the murderer we've been looking for. Why else would he lie right from the beginning?
I fear this assessment is quite mistaken, Your Honor. Allow me to explain the flawed reasoning of Mr. Payne and Mr. Justice. They have the idea that the lack of Ilva's fingerprints on the card key proves that I lied. And they believe that I lied because I secretly went with Ilva in the limousine and killed him. Is that your assessment, Apollo?
Well, yes.
Do you agree, Mr. Payne?
Why, yes. I do in fact agree, Mr. Justice.
So nice to see them getting along, even if they are fools. Now, let me ask you this, dear attorneys. What if Ilva Moria was wearing gloves?
Didn't you say that you're the only one that wears gloves?
Well...
Then we'd be completely wrong.
Bingo, Mr. Payne. The fact is, Ilva Moria was wearing gloves that night. Does that solve your contradiction?
It would solve the contradiction if it were true.
But can you prove it? Oh, I'm afraid I don't have to prove anything, Apollo, my boy. You're the one accusing me of murder. It's up to you to supply the proof.
Defense attorney's job is never easy.
Isn't that right, dear Judge? You are correct, Mr. Dugal. Unless you can provide proof that Ilva Morir was not wearing gloves that night, this trial is over. we will be forced to name Witness as the murderer. I know where we can find the proof of this, Your Honor.
Are you sure?
Positive. I've paid attention to everything that's happened so far, both inside and outside the courtroom. This is where we can find proof that Ilva Morir wasn't wearing gloves. In the testimony! The proof isn't any piece of evidence, Your Honor. The proof is in what the witness told us. What? When you testified for us earlier, you made a critical error. And you repeated that error when you gave me the card key that would frame Witness. I'm actually the only one who wears gloves at work. You know, Vera Darren to be sure. I'm the only one I know who actually wears gloves all the time. They're sort of a staple of mine. If Escort Dugal is the only person at City Hall that wears gloves, then logically, Ilva Morir was not wearing any gloves. This is incredible, but there's something I don't understand. If Escort Dugal is the killer, what about Witness? He seemed incredibly suspicious, actually. Well, my last theory about him being the killer and murderer was kind of wrong. Sorry, I thought it was him, but after seeing all the evidence that's just been provided with me, thank you, Mr. Dugal, I'd like to turn that statement around. But I do have another theory. Yes, we do.
You do?
Yes, we do. Really? Yes, we do. Yes. Witness wasn't the killer, but he was clearly hiding something. The mistake in his testimony can't be a coincidence. Witness was an accomplice. Escort Dugal paid Witness to pretend that he saw the limousine on the road. This explains why his testimony was so full of holes. And when you paid him to testify, you tricked him into touching the card key. I've been framed, fooled, tricked, swindled, hoodwinked. And then you tried to frame him by giving me that card key. For the sake of the argument, let's suppose you're right about all this, boy. Why wouldn't the innocent Matthias Thomas tell the police what happened if I framed him?
Surely a high-ranking city council member could easily blackmail and control his own little servants.
Exactly! I thought I noticed something strange about your earlier behavior, Mr. Dugal. Like those pauses and your creepiness. Is Matthias right here? Here right now, Mr. Dugal?
I'm afraid not, my boy.
What was that look just now? You seemed very suspicious when I asked you where Matthias was. Almost like you were making sure he kept his mouth shut. I think you are the reason Matthias refused to talk about what happened, Mr. Dugal. But what about the note? Doesn't that prove that Ilva Morir went to the vehicle alone? The note could have been created after the crime and then planted in the vehicle. There's no proof of when the note was written. Grrr. Mr. Dugal, did you really orchestrate all this? Did you really kill Ilva Morir? It's the only answer that explains every mystery, Your Honor. Not that I would expect him to confess.
Objection!
Oh! Are you gonna confess? You don't expect me to confess, Apollo. What a low regard you must have for me. Well, Most witnesses don't confess, especially when they are brought up to the stand so early. In fact, I will confess my crime right this instant. Really? You will?
Really?
Absolutely. Your Honor, I have made a mistake, and I humbly admit it. Something's going on here. I, Asterisk Dugas, hereby confess to the world my crime of